Hey, welcome back. I got another review for you, and it is, as if you didn't already know, Sansui 331. This little honey was made in Tokyo, Japan in 1975, 76, and 1977. Very similar to the 441. In fact, the 441 has less power than this. How much power is it? 12 watts per channel into 8 or 4 ohms. You're not getting any more than 12 watts. So if you use these with sensitive speakers, you'll enjoy them much more than if you use them with not so sensitive speakers. These models are a little bit more affordable than other Sansuis, and I think it's because they don't have a separatable preamp to amplifier section. So you can't plug in a preamp to this, and you can't use this as a separate preamp. But don't let that deter you. That just means it's a really good value if you're not planning on using it in that way. And the sound is the characteristic Sansui sound from the 70s that people tend to adore, and I'll describe that in a little bit. The model numbers go from the 221 to the 881. The 331 that I have here is one of my favorites. I actually have the 881, and I don't enjoy the sound quite as much as I do of this one. The bass is very present, very room-filling, despite its low wattage, and the mids and the highs are just very clean. It's not the last word in like detail, but you never feel like you're missing anything. So I first heard about these receivers from a reviewer called Stereo Review X, who's based in London, I believe. This amplifier, even though it's one of my least expensive, is one that I have probably the hardest time turning off. Like, even songs I don't enjoy that particularly much, I'll have a hard time turning them off because it's so listenable. It's like potato chips. It's not made of like the finest ingredients. Potatoes probably aren't your favorite food. There's just something about it, something about the way that the ingredients come together, that you just want to keep going and going and going. And the only difference between this and potato chips is you don't have to feel any guilt listening to it, because it's not gonna stick to your hips. It's just very hard to turn off. It makes everything easier to listen to. It does something to my brain that prevents me from hitting the next button on a track. I think that's a good way to identify how much you're really enjoying your system, because we all go in with expectations. You know, you might spend a lot of money on something, so you kind of try to force yourself to enjoy it. Well, that's the opposite experience that you're going to have with these. You can still find them around $200. This is the middle of 2022 right now. It's the best $200 I think you can spend on a receiver, bar none. This particular one, they actually come in more of a walnut colored finish, but this is a vinyl wrap that I put on it, and you know, it's hard to distinguish from the factory wrap. The knob feel is nice. It's got nice clickiness. I don't know if you can hear the clickiness, but definitely good. So it has plenty of clarity, but it doesn't have that extreme top end extension or the last word in detail. But if you put a good DAC in front of it and good sensitive speakers behind it, it gives you plenty of detail. Like, picture a person that when they tell you a story, gives you every single detail about what happened and what led up to it and all that. You might not want that. You might want it to get to the point. And that's what this particular receiver does. It gets to the heart of the music. I feel like it expresses what the musician hears in their head. I feel like is what this receiver pushes out through the speakers.